let's move on. So last episode, I mentioned that there's a lot of differences between where I live now in Syracuse, New York, and where I grew up and you still live in Northern Illinois, just outside of Chicago. So you haven't really experienced that much, but I've got a lot to say about that. So
No. Ooh.
I need to take a drink real quick out of my Yeti.
No, not sponsored.
No, absolutely not. Probably never will be. So one thing, so we need a little bit of a background. So we grew up outside of about an hour southwest of Chicago, and there's nothing there but cornfields. It is completely flat, just corn and soybeans for miles. And that was, that's all that we knew growing up. And so then I moved initially after college to Watertown, New York, which is like basically in Canada. We were 20 minutes or 20 miles from the Canadian border. And just the amount of trees, and there's a lot of like water, a lot of streams, a lot of uh, like rocky kind of almost cliff-like structures. I know there's some of that in very southern Illinois,
Mhm.
but where we live in northern, there it's just completely flat. So that when we first moved out there, that was like the biggest thing was just the environment and all like the one thing that Hannah, my wife Hannah, always said is she always say that she loves the hills because there's literally not a hill like where we grew up, and it's just so crazy. And when we drove back from Syracuse to northern Illinois, when I turned off the highway for that last 30-mile stretch, it really hit me like, oh my God, I can see the light in somebody's house 2 miles away. Like
Yeah.
holy crap! And that around here is it's not possible because there's so many hills and trees and everything. So that really just was a big shocker to me. I was just like, wow, it's so freaking flat here.
And it's like even like flying into like New York, like that's always fun for me because like you fly into Chicago, it's a big city.
Mm-hmm.
Flying out there is like there's a lot of forest, and I was not really expecting that.
Right. Well, and plus you're flying into Syracuse Airport, which is a tiny little airport. So yeah, you can
Yeah.
see that. Um, and also, so outside of the like environment, I guess something that kind of goes along with that is the weather. Uh, in Illinois, it is sweltering hot,
Oh
humid
yeah.
as all hell in summer. 100-degree temperature with a heat index of like 115 is common. And
Oh
then
yeah.
and then in the winter, you got about air temperature of 0, wind chill of about negative 15 for 2 months out of the year. So
That's right.
you have these crazy extremes in temperature. And what I've noticed here, I've been here for just about 2 years now. So I've gone through the seasons twice. And the summers get like the hottest it was ever got here was like 90 degrees for like 3 days, and then every other day is about 85 and sunny. Like the summers here are really nice.
Yeah.
um in the winter, well, fall is just beautiful. All the trees turn colors, and they're so vibrant too. Like the colors are just amazing. And then winter, it does not get that cold. Like 0 maybe a couple times in the year, but like hovers in the high teens, 20s. and even like low 30s for most of the
It's not
winter, and but it just snows a ton. Like we get in Syracuse, I think it's like 135 inches of snow a year, which is
bad.
like literally 100 more than we got back in Illinois.
I was just gonna say, like, I feel like we get like no snow compared to that.
Mm-hmm. Um, so yeah, that was I like the weather here a lot more than I do in Illinois because I do not like humidity and I like snow, so it's good for me here. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, what do you think about that? What do you think about the weather in Illinois?
uh, sucks. Like, I don't know. Like, I could complain a lot about it, but like going through like double days in football and
Oh,
you just like sweating your ass
oh my
off, and it's
God.
like, or going. So we both worked at the county, and I'm
Yeah,
probably
the
gonna go
county
back.
highway department.
That's right. I'm probably gonna go back and do that again this summer,
Yeah.
and it's like you start out the day and you get wet from like the plants and stuff, and you're just like, all right, like this isn't half bad. And then that sun comes out and hits you, and you're just sweating so hard. Like the humidity is like you could barely breathe.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's a guy that we used to work with. Let's call him HD Ross, and he would just be chain smoking packs of cigarettes as we're just out on the side of the road, like like hauling shit,
Shit.
and it's like he's like so out of breath, like I think he's just gonna pass out. And I was like, he's like, no, I gotta rip another cigarette. It's like, whoa, oh my
That
god,
guy, I don't understand. He would eat like a bag of chips, a couple cans of Mountain Dew, and a pack of cigarettes. That would be like what he would eat for the day. And we're out there doing hard physical labor in the heat. And he's just smoking away, sucking down a Mountain Dew. Dude's,
it's just like I don't think people really understand that like. Yeah, you could be like outside during a hot day and like it could be really humid, but like go out on that blacktop and be out on that blacktop. Like that heat is just
is
ridiculous.
no joke. And people, I feel like people don't think about the weather in the Midwest like that.
No.
Like people on the coast, but what they don't understand is that the oceans on the coasts like mitigate and regulate the temperatures so they don't have those giant extremes like we do back home because there's no giant body of water. Like yeah, there's Lake Michigan, but that's further north, and no weather comes through Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
Um, so we just have it just comes over the plains. Another thing that I really noticed here in Syracuse is the rain. So that it's just like when it rains, it's just like a really soft rain or like a misty rain. There's no big thunderstorms or super hard downpours like we get back in Illinois.
That happens a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's a couple times where like the whole sky would be green, and like Annabelle, our dog, is epilepsy, so she's like not a fan of thunderstorms. So I'd like Benny, our boss, would send us home from work, and I would just go home, and Annabelle would just jump in my lap, and she'd be like, "All right, I'm here now."
Yeah, he would send you home from work at the county during the summer, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. If it was raining, yes.
right. Yeah, because you can't really do anything if you're gonna get struck by lightning.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God they sent us home. Some days I was just like praying for it.